Let's just see what this is. Pretty good. It's pretty good. Hey, Pete the Greek. All right, so that goes there. Ham's coming on in 2 minutes. I didn't have much warning. I wish I could get rid of all these things, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. Let's see what happens when we sign in. 2 more minutes. Kamal, Dips, Paul. My eyesight. It's like kitties never die. Kitties never die. All right. I'm going to die. No, I'm going to wait 1 more minute. I need the stocks to run both Finger and GTI so I can move to the Philippines and relax. As soon as you move to the Philippines, Typhoon Hillary's going to come hit you. No, I'm just kidding you. Yeah. Girth mic. Yeah, I can't do that on a live call. That's just reserved. That's just reserved for my videos, my time life videos. Still think GTI, I might go first. I never said that. Well, recently I've never said that. I now think that Finger's going to go first. But you know, it's all in the hands of people more powerful than I am. All right, let me call in. Gee whiz, there it is. There it is.
All right, William, you there?
I'm here.
Let me merge everybody up.
You better run.
All right, everybody, welcome to the rainy Monday. There's a couple of days of rain now. This is not to buy or sell. This is our opinions, and SEC, fuck you. Anyway, we'll start out with the horrendous news about that gentleman's daughter who ran away and attempted suicide from the MMTLP community. Our hearts go out to you. Again, I've told everyone, if you were following me, I said it 1,000 times. Naked short selling, they destroy families, people get divorced, obviously children run away, heart attacks, stress, suicide. I seen it all. I told you that 1,000 times. Now you're seeing real people reporting on it, and my heart goes out to that man for actually putting out a video,
Ham,
holding it back.
Ham, you're kind of going in and out like
How about now?
No.
Still? Now?
No, now it's good. Now it's good. Yep.
I got to hold the phone in my mouth. All right, that is, my heart goes out to the gentleman that posted the video about his daughter, 14 years old, who just ran away after the guy had to leave work, leave his home and start traveling around for work because he lost his money in MMTLP.
Oh my gosh.
The video is awful.
Oh my gosh.
I know people that have killed themselves over this, heart attacks, died, cancer, you name it. Naked short selling, it's murder. Okay.
Well, Citadel got fined, but they don't name the stocks, as you always point out.
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
Right,
I'm just going through I'm just recapping the families that are destroyed, the people
I know,
that
it's
are
terrible.
destroyed. And the SEC could care nothing about the collateral damage of the people that the weight it leaves behind it, so that Ken Griffin or the Kramers or Lynn Partners or Yorkville or Savvy just stealing everybody's money. No matter what money you have, I don't care if you lose $1 or if you lose $1 million, it's still stolen from you, and it's not right. All right? Citadel just got busted for committing fraud. They paid a $7 million fine. If the person who's in charge of that division, they should be putting them in jail. It'll end quickly because no one will take that position.
And they left out a line of code like Goldman Sachs before, or something like that.
Yeah, they know how to get around it. They got billions of dollars. They know how to buy homes for $50. They know how to buy a home for $150 million. They can figure out what they're doing illegally. So again, this is something that I saw the video this morning. It was sent to me, and I was sick looking at it because I know it happened to 50 people I know. It's
terrible,
and it's a disgrace. And we're with you. I don't know how I can help.
And Jim Cramer says, "Buyer beware." That guy on TV, Jim Cramer, he says, "Buyer beware."
Buyer beware. Yeah.
For MMTLP, that was his response. They knew what they were doing.
They all know what they're doing. He did it. It's a disgrace. We're trying our best to try to expose this, but the people that are bashes and who stand up and try to protect these criminals, just look what it's doing to this man. I have nothing to do with him. I know nothing about him. I know nothing. I know he owns MMTLP. His money was taken from him. He has no access to it, and his family was upended. He had to go out and find a job outside of his home. He left his home, and his home life just fell apart, because obviously the father figure had to leave.
Awful.
So again, it can happen to anybody at any time. I tell you every day about the destruction that this causes, and I'm not here to sell you a lesson or preach anything about it. I'm warning you that this is what it's about. And I've told many people that can't handle this thing, please sell, move on, go back to work, because this is a fight. And this is a fight that, to me, it's worth fighting for. All right? Again, when I see a story like this, and that's why I wanted to have a call today, is because I needed to address this situation. It's been burning me up all day, that these people could care less, that people have their lives are destroyed over investing in a stock. Nothing else. That man had nothing to do with anybody. Just helping his daughter grow up, and it turned into a shit show over Wall Street. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that, and I'll end it on that. But again, it's awful. There's nothing we can do about it. We can only do is keep calling the SEC, call up, whistleblow, repost, retweet, whatever you have to do, spread the word, because if it doesn't end, it's going to get you. It just bites everybody in the ass. I don't care what stock you own, whether it's UNH, Goldman Sachs, whatever it is. Eventually, they'll get to you, and your stock will get destroyed, and your investment will be robbed over fraud. Right? All they're doing this is because they need to flood the market to create liquidity and make it easier for you to buy a stock. No one cares about that. Charge us this commission, stop the counterfeiting, and let us buy a stock, and let a stock trade on its fundamental values, which doesn't exist anymore. It exists for 10 companies, and everybody else is garbage. So I just wanted to let you know about that. I wanted to also talk about today is a Jewish holiday. I'm not anti-Semitic in any shape, form, or way. But it's funny, on the highest holiday you can get, all the volume is light and these stocks. Well, that leads me to believe, and I've been doing this a long time, that the people behind it are from the community that has the holiday today. There's not even a question about that. And I've reported on this before. All right? So, again, it's not a coincidence. It's true. It's a fact. All right? When they get out, they come back and attack. They're all criminals. They're all trying to get a better seat when they pass away, and yet they come out and they steal everything they can. They're just liars. They're not religious. They're just criminals. On a second note, getting past that for a minute, is if you go to OTC short report, I put up the link. And I was referring to GTII. And you can see how from September 11th, there was 1 million shares shorted, 700, 400, 200, 170, down to 49, 131, then, down to 39, 90. The number keeps getting lower. The percentage of volume that is shorted is down to 20%. If that number is going lower, that means they're stopping and the stock should turn. All right, so that is a tremendous sign in GTII. Not knowing else, I'm just following the trends. All right, I'm looking for any advantage to try to help us out and figure out what's going on here. All right, so in GTII, the trend is your friend. They're stopping selling. They can ramp it up tomorrow once they get out of, once the religious holidays over. Maybe they wake up, they start, remember they got to hit the sell button again. All right, but again, this number is going lower. So that means they're slowing down the sales. All right, so just keep an eye on it. It's something that you can use as a tool. I can see it myself and I memorize it, but if you need to check on it, I just put the link up there. OTC short report, it's right there. Tomorrow, for that dummy Tony, the real short interest is reported. I think it was 434,000 in finger motion. And the actual numbers, the days to cover is very low. Obviously, if you keep creating this volume, the days to cover goes lower because there's a lot of volume in the stock. If the stock traded 20,000 shares a day and the short was, 5 million shares, the days to cover would be like 5 years. Right? So what they do is they create the volume, and that number always looks low. And then some moron posts up there. There is no short in the stock. We're being misled by this idiot, meaning me. Well, I address it every day. Shortsqueeze.com, hit it, FNGR 435, I think is the number. If it take a few shares. And tomorrow the new number comes out. If you were short 435,000 shares of the stock was moving higher. So obviously they try to, knock it down so they can actually try to cover it. Let's see if they raised it up or the number goes down. We'll know tomorrow. So you'll get to see the trend with the real short. The real short is someone that is 100% someone tied to Lynn Partners in that gang. And the same thing in GTII. There's no one shorting GTII or finger unless they have some sort of relationship with the head crook or knowledge of what they're doing. All right, they're just using the borrowed shares as another way to throw some wood on the fire to try to hold it down. All right, that's all they're doing. These guys never borrow shares. Why would they borrow any? Obviously, they're borrowing it because they're getting tighter and tighter and the naked shorting end. William, do you have any questions as I keep going?
I had no questions yet. Let me just check. Well, here's somebody. He says, I forget to mention that after Citadel and others are fined, they pay the fine without admitting or denying the charges. Another thing is they get to write it off against their profits. Believe it or not, they can take it as a loss against their profits.
Well, I'm sure there's some, they know what they're doing. I do believe that Citadel and Goldman have really exposed this crime, and that the political people in D.C. now will be armed with proof that it's happening. All right, and I think that the end of the day, Citadel's not going away. Goldman's not going to go away. They're going to come out and hang the little fellas, meaning the Kramers, Lynn Partners, Savvy, guys like that are going to go to jail. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The newspapers have to take this narrative and hang the real problem. They're going to blame the problem on these guys. All right? We paid our fine, and they're going to go after these criminals. I posted a bunch of story about the guy who blew up Credit Suisse. Once you lose billions of dollars, everyone comes to get you, and there's a chance he goes away for life. I put the story up there. His own people, his CFO, they're both squealing on each other because they're going away for life. And that was a guy on the long side who lost billions of dollars. The short side has infinite losses here. All right, so and those stocks they can lose, but eventually the money will the loss will end. On the short side, it's infinite. It never ends until they cover it all back. All right, at the end of the day, Jeffries has to make a decision. Either they're going to wind up give up Lynn, shut it down, pay a $7 million fine like Citadel did. If they don't shut it down, when Lynn blows up, they go out of business and they go to jail for defending the fraud. Now, I'm not saying Jeffries is, fanning the fraud, but trying to make the fire hotter here. This is business as usual. They're the prime broker, and I think that they look the other way and allow these guys leverage to keep doing this. That I think they're doing.
Well, I was listening to somebody, and it might have been something that Anna was telling me, but there's something like 5 or 6 or 7 billion impressions from MMTLP. And Ham, you always tell me once it's seen, it can't be unseen. And I think Congress and all the legislative aides, the LAs, they're seeing this fraud now, and it can't be unseen.
Well, again, I know they were sent. That group was educated, notified on Citadel and Goldman Sachs fines recently.
Yeah.
As of 3 days ago. So again, they're explaining it to them. Here it is. We're pointing out the big time criminal to Scarface. Here they are. And they what is the disruption from the shares that he naked shorted or mismarked, whatever way you want to call it? They don't include it. The only company to ever get named is GTII, believe it or not. It's just amazing. It's right there. The DTC, they gave you the proof. I've never seen that. I keep telling you every day, go find me the names. No names. Because if they ever put up a name, I said, oh, by the way, Ken Griffin and Citadel killed ETI. It's only down from 130 down to 65. Every person that owned the stock at 130 will be able to sue to collect that difference. That's why they don't say the names. All right. So again, you have to understand this is a monster mess. The can of worms is opened, and you can't put it back in now. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. Which one of our stocks is going to go first? I believe Finger Motion is. But I have to say that PTI, with that number dropping down below 20% on the short sale, something is acting strange there also. So again, I don't know which one's going to go first. I believe it's going to be Finger only because the tape is telling me. But there's some interesting tidbits on GTI that's telling me that's ready to go too. Or we can get lucky and you get the daily double. They both go at the same time again.
That's probably what's going to happen. Do you have an update on the S3 approval for?
Yes, the S3 is in my kitchen right now.
Hey, it was a question. I thought I'd ask it.
I wish I could. Listen, first of all these filings and all this nonsense, I'm not an expert on that stuff at all. You got the wrong guy for that. That's not what I studied. I studied only numbers. That was my job. Filings and things like that mean nothing to me. If we're waiting for an S3 to get SEC approval, there's no reason for the SEC to shut down or block any filing by a company that has lawyers that's doing properly, right? So there's no reason to believe that anyone's going to block anything. They never have. All right, these are the rules of the SEC. Finger Motion, I guess, Univest. I don't know who even filed the S3. They go by the rules of the government. That's what they can't just change the rules, because if they change the rules, everyone who does an S3 is all wrong, right?
Right.
So that it'll come out when it comes out. And what do I think when it does come out? I think the stock is going to explode.
Well, I would just make one observation, which is, not for nothing, but Univest does a lot of filings. They probably have top-notch attorneys who have a great relationship with SEC counterparts. So my guess is it's sooner than later. But
well, if the SEC can't figure out making short selling, do you think they really understand what the hell, why you need an S3 in this case? I don't think they would even understand it.
They're all 12 years old.
I filed an S3. I guess they want to raise money. Okay, that's good enough for us. There you go.
Look, you're getting endless questions on the same point. People don't understand, I guess. What happens when the restricted shares that were given as a dividend in GTII are free to trade? And that's supposed to happen.
Sell them. If you want to sell them as a gift. Yeah. It was done to create a trap. What happened in MMTLP? MMTLP is a dividend. It created the biggest shit show in creation, right? GTII is a dividend. It's the same thing. This shit show is coming up. It's coming to your town. It's coming. The shit show is coming to your town. That's why it was done. There was no other reason to give you more shares of the stock for free. It was done to torture the shorts. The shorts have to deliver the share to the brokerage firm. The brokerage firm, if it doesn't get the share from the short, has to make a decision whether they're going to journal entry and create a security out of thin air.
Which is fraud.
It's just fraud. There you go. That's why the dividend was done.
Yeah. But anyway, it seems more complicated to everybody.
I would tell you this. I don't know how many shares you get. I can't remember what it is. But imagine getting an extra 2,000 shares for free, and the stock explodes to $50 and you make $100,000 because you were in a stock that actually did something like that. All right. Think about the positives, why it was done.
How come no one ever raids the obligation warehouse?
This is probably like Fort Knox. Sorry.
Yeah. I like the question. I don't know that anyone would do it because the whole purpose of the obligation warehouse is to evade trouble, not to cause trouble for the shorts.
Listen, there's many tricks that we don't know about. Okay, I don't understand who's extending these guys credit. I was told by a very prominent guy they have to be getting 10-1 on their margin on their money. You know, so if they have $180 million in the accounts, right, like we thought they did, 10-1. Someone is giving these guys 10-1 leverage.
Oh my gosh!
I personally think they've exhausted it all, and I think it's close to the.
So that would be an extra layer, or the prime broker would give 10-1. They would just
somebody. I don't know who's giving it to them. I don't know, but again, the gentleman told me that they can't afford this trade. He says that these guys can't afford it, and he thinks they're getting big leverage. At any given time, that leverage disappears.
It's a two-edged sword. Leverage is a lot of fun when you're winning, but when you're losing, oh my gosh, you can't keep up.
I don't understand the jockeying back and forth between 505 to 499 to 495. I'm back and forth here, the ping pong game and finger motion. It just goes back and forth all day. If you watch it, you'll be nauseous watching.
That's because according to Michael Dion, the research report from Benchmark, if it's under 5, it's a buy. If it goes over 5, it immediately transfers to a sell.
So hurry up, it's 501. Sell your positions. 199. Buy it back. Hurry up. Company fundamental just got weak. It's over 5.
Somebody here found out, I read this out 2 weeks ago, but someone found out that if the SEC receives the registration statement, they have 27 days within the filing. But that's what it says on the rule on the government site. But typically it's 5 to 7 days or within 10 days.
I've heard that from a bunch of people saying that this is a quick turnaround event. This is something that public companies use as a tool to help grow their companies. and the SEC has nothing to say about it. It's really nothing to say. It's a non-event. They have nothing. They have nothing to say. No interest in it. It means nothing. The whole thing is a non-event.
Okay, so I guess
if you go back in time, William. You know, when I call you William, I'm going to smack you, right? You know that, right? So here it is. If you go back in time, when GTII was doing the dividends, everyone was like, oh, the SEC is going to block the dividends. The company got plenty of dividends that went through the SEC. Only one was blocked, and that was the two things were blocked. The Picasso dividend and the crypto dividend. They knew that we couldn't get, they couldn't deliver it. So that's what those two were blocked. But for the most part, if you go down the path of the SEC rule book, they let you go right by. No big deal. Okay,
so we gotta keep our not you. You're calm as a cucumber. Connie has a question. I just have a question, and don't get pissed off. Are you pushing another damn AMC scam? You YouTubers pushing shit that never comes to fruition just for views and money. The list is long on you all. This is Connie Candy.
Yes, Connie Candy. Yes, we do. We see her all day. What's her name? Connie Candy?
That's her name, Connie Candy Corn.
Well, she needs to go and go back to learning about the equity markets. I've been doing this 23 years, and I'm not going to be nasty to you, because obviously you don't know what you're talking about. But I posted about AMC that the CEO wasn't helping you and you're going to get screwed. And I've said it 1,000 times. So if you choose and you want to call us whatever names you want, we're pushing a scam, come to DC, get your ass out of wherever the hell you are with your big mouth, and come to DC. I'll meet you outside the SEC building, and you can come and piss on the building with me. All right, we'll whip it out and we'll pee on the building. If you have some nerve, instead of calling us trash and whatever else you want to call us, we're trying to save your ass and your family. All right, we're not here trying to push a fraud. We're trying to expose the fraud. Now, someone who would say something that's stupid either is on the other side of the fraud, because I think people who know they were defrauded in AMC or GameStop pretty much know what's going on. So for someone who's a novice who's saying something so stupid, has to be someone from the dark side bullshitting. Because either you're brain dead or you're working for the bad people. So there's nothing else to say, because everything is right in front of you. Would you like to read about Goldman Sachs stealing your money? Or maybe Citadel? Or the Kramers? Or Lynn Partners? We have all the proof. We're not making it up. We're just trapping them. This is what it looks like when you trap a rat, Connie Candy. So clean the cotton candy out of your ears, and learn how to read, or don't ever ask a stupid question like that again. Or if you have the balls, the nerve, if you're a woman, come down to the SEC with your big mouth, and I'll walk in with you. Let's go any day.
Look,
next question.
Ham, I happen to know you're doing this because your followers on Twitter are up to 15,000, and I know you've lived your life and worked all your career to get 15,000 followers on Twitter.
Yes, that's just what I care about. Listen, I tell people stop following me. All I'm trying to do is I say the same shit every day. I'm like a goddamn broken record if you're listening to me. I would like to watch the same Seinfeld episode every day. That's what this is like, right? Every day I say the same thing until we move this boulder over the finish line. And I started out by reporting a horrible tragedy for some man who's got his family got destroyed. His child almost died because he got ripped off by naked short sellers. And I have nothing to do with that, Connie. I don't even have a share in that stock.
We've given her, it's probably a guy anyway, but we've given her more attention than she deserves.
I could care less.
Let's get off of Connie's after all.
23 years. Go back to the Raging Bull and go see how the fights were then. I could care less now. Let's go.
Chad Vivian, Ham is hilarious. Good on you, man. I would come and piss on the SEC with you, but I'm in Toronto. It's too far. Well, Ham.
Send me a jar. I'll throw it on the wall for you. Send me a sample.
All right, let's see.
Listen, guys, listen, we all understand this. I don't know anybody that would cheer for people to rob people in broad daylight, destroy their families, give people heart attacks, have people die of cancer. Who would do that? I don't even understand it.
I don't know who would side with the shorts. Why would they side with criminality? No one benefits in the United States from it. No one, except criminals.
Their own families. If they can't create a cure for a disease, you die. That's what happens.
And they live in the United States, and they go to their country clubs, and they hang out with people they're stealing money from. I don't know how they live for themselves.
Listen, I know this from people on Long Island. The kitchen witch, I forget the name of the stupid place where the criminals go get coffee. Everyone who works there, they all know they're criminals. Everyone at their golf club, they all know they're criminals. Everyone in Long Island knows they're criminals. I don't even understand how they walk around.
Lawyers. Anyway, so William Tuck Keating Realtor asks, given how Univest operates, if there's a squeeze and finger, would it be larger with Univest involved or the same, basically? What is it? Is Univest's involvement?
When you look at the great tsunamis, there's always this big wave that comes through, and then there's another wave right behind it.
Right.
That's what it looks like to me with Univest. So there'll be a wave, and then there'll be another wave on top of it, which makes it, that's what makes it devastating.
Two Stones says, why even read show comments? I will never understand. But bravo, you make a good point.
I have no problem. It just makes it better for us that people understand that there are criminals that cheer on criminals. I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't get it. It's one of the most confusing.
It's like all the people we see on TV, where a guy goes out, he murders 20 people, and then his parents come out and say he was a great guy. He just, he always had guns, or he always wanted to kill things. I don't know.
Or the killer in prison that some woman marries. I never get it.
Hey, listen, there's a couple of girls in prison I like married, but what am I going to say?
Well, one thing, you wouldn't have to deal with them in the morning. That's a terrible thing to say. All right, so I don't have any more questions, but let me look.
I just wanted to go through the list. Today is a very high holy day for our Jewish friends, all right? The criminals are obviously, wrapped up in the same type of, this is their religion. They have, these people know how to navigate, move money around through the financial system. It's very well known, all right? I came from an Italian background. We don't do that stuff. The Irish don't do that stuff. The English don't do that stuff. This is a special group of people that band together. They all taught each other. And, here they are on a high holy day going to repent all their sins. And then they come right back out and try to steal.
Well,
and you say, wow, that's pretty disgusting that you said that. I know it's disgusting, but it's true. It is true.
Of course, it's the subset of these criminals you're referring to, not...
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I have many friends that are very honorable people, and they're shareholders, and you know what? They're quite upset about it also, because they know the criminals, and they know this. Listen, I've been doing it for so long. This is like my 23rd holiday, and I can tell a holiday when they're, and they disappear on these holidays. So it's not like it's like a magic trick. These guys all disappear on these certain days.
Mexican says, Ham, don't give out your address because you'll be receiving hundreds of thousands of urine jars.
I'll be out there for a week growing them.
Florida State pulled it off. I don't have any clue what that means.
Oh, who wants to get with the college football here? I'm all round up about that. First of all, it was a great environment. Clemson's got a beautiful campus. It's a great college town. I was there in 2013 when Florida State beat Clemson with Winston. and that's why I became a Winston fan. I went to the game. It was an hour and 20-minute flight from New York. It took me 8 hours to get home last night due to the rain. So that was the hardest part of the game. It was a great game. And for all your college football people out there, Florida State has played two big universities, LSU and Clemson, has beat both of them. And none of the other schools here besides Texas can actually step up and say they actually played anybody. So University of Washington, Dirty Mayo, go stick it up your ass with your UW team.
He's one of your biggest supporters. You got to lay off.
I know, but listen, we can talk sports and be frank about it. He knows they haven't played anybody. They're not even on TV out there. And the guy Ken, who's rooting for his Georgia Bulldogs, their time is coming. Anyway, my other one, I just want to tell everybody. The other day, I opened my big mouth and I bet 300 on the Jets to win the Super Bowl 65-1 because I thought Jameis Winston was going to get traded to the Jets. What happened? The quarterback of the Saints gets hurt, and they put Jameis Winston in. So that idiot is out now, and now my quarterback is stuck in the Saints. So my bet is out the window. So I hate that one.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
That's my sports. That's it. That's the extent of my sports nonsense.
Do you think that all the talking and chatter about squeezing and finger on Twitter, etc., will call attention to it, and therefore the hedge fund will prevent a squeeze from happening?
Absolutely not. We're not here we're trying to get you to understand it. I do not care if you buy the stock. That's not my job. My job is to educate you about what I see. All right. If you can't see what we've been preaching and showing you, okay, you must run from the equity markets because it's the same pattern in all the stocks. The difference between Figure and GTI is because we are exposing it. All right. I know the naked shorts in Wolf is Yorkville, but the company isn't fighting for it. The company isn't. They're going about this in slow motion. MULN. I advise the company. It's taken them. I advised them in January. It's October, and this he's bringing out his plan in slow motion. I don't know what he's waiting for, but he's doing it in slow motion. All right, so you can see the difference from companies that are fighting at a fast pace versus slow motion. We're not here for the 100-mile race. We want this. This is a sprint. We want to turn this into the 60-yard dash, not the 5,000-meter race. All right. Wes Christian is a great long game guy. He's here for the duration. Mark Bazile, he's great for the short term. He's an expert going out against the toxic lenders like Yorkville and Lind Partners and the Kramers and those type of guys. He can expose them. He's the short-term guy. Wes is the long-term guy. All right, so there's different parts of this fight, and it's hard for public companies to figure out what they're going to do and how to fight back. I told you I spoke to a very important person out of Atlanta the other day, and they're trying to figure out the best way to attack this also because they got destroyed also. A very powerful political person. All right, so
Jimmy Carter?
Jimmy Carter, yes. So we are getting traction because people are finally saying enough. Okay? And DC, I believe, is going to be all over this. And the SEC had to come out and hang somebody. So they threw Citadel out there. Citadel pays, moves back on. Maybe they clean up a little bit. Maybe become better people now, which I doubt. But again, that's what happens. I'm sure Virtue is doing the same nonsense. All these guys are doing the same thing. And I think that shit's going to hit the fan.
Do you think Ari Rubenstein of Yorkville and FINRA will ever go to jail? I think I have his name correct. I'm not sure. The guy...
He works for Yorkville?
Well, is it Yorkville Advisors? Or he works for one of them, and he's on FINRA. Ari something, Rubenstein or Rothstein or Ari?
When it gets closer, you'll start seeing them resign from wherever they are. That's my tip off. That I follow those things. If I see people leave places like that, that's usually a good sign. The women at Finger Motion at Lind Partners, they look like they're both just got thrown into the fire, signed some papers, and put their pictures up, I think those poor women are going to get roasted alive. And, as being a CFO of a company, all right, I think that eventually, those people will leave.
I don't know if this is funny, but Brew now says, Ham, from a fellow Italian, can we call you prosciutto? Kind of cornball.
I'm like a meatball. Meatball.
Yeah, meatball's better. Meatball's better. Go Buckeyes. I don't know. Go Blue. I don't know what any of that means.
Those teams are all washed up. Get out of here with that Big Ten stuff. Go ahead, next. Ohio State had an amazing game. That was great. That was very good.
He's on a roll today. Ham is on a roll today.
No, Ohio State was a great game against Notre Dame. For those who missed it, it was the last play of the game. It was unbelievable. But we'll see him down the road.
Hi, Sada Amanzan. You never met her, but she's one of your great troopers. She came to Congress. Do you think there needs to be a big overhaul to get these guys convicted? There's too many friends around Wall Street. No one is going to prosecute friends.
But DOJ is going to get them. The DOJ is going to. Listen, they're not going to hang Citadel. I can find you a video where Pat Burns says Citadel is the Fed. It's an extension of the federal government. All right, so that's not going to happen. But they're going to hang the low-hanging fruit. The low-hanging fruit is the Kramers, Lynn Partners. I gave it Yorkville, Savvy, Andrew Left, these guys, Hindenburg, all these short sellers that are running interference and destroying public companies. They're the ones. That is the low-hanging fruit. They will hang them, and they'll put out a story that we're cleaning up the street and this problem. That's what's going to come out. And that's my goal. Clean up this one. And then you know what you're dealing with when you play with the big people.
Oh, Ari's with GTS. What's GTS? He's the one that got MMTLP trading. Ari.
Yeah, it's Virtue, I think. Virtue, I think.
Yeah, so I got my information.
It's a market maker.
Yeah. He's a co-founder of GTS, the alleged market maker who got MMTLP trading. He was removed. Maybe he was removed from FINRA board in January. So that's
GTS Securities is GTSM.
Yeah. Okay. So I got some of my facts wrong.
So GTSM is the same platform as Citadel. And I don't know who they're buying order flow from, but that's they're a market maker, execution place. That's all they are.
Who would, in their right mind, bet on the Jets to win the Super Bowl?
I did 65 to 1.
It calls in your entire judgment.
Hey, wait a second. While we got you here, we got a lapse in time. I bet 300 on Tampa Bay to win the Super Bowl at 50 to 1. But Jameis Winston was the quarterback. They kicked him off the team. They brought Tom Brady in, and I won 15,000. And I posted it on Twitter with the photo of it. I
would have bet for Dallas, but I bet they're favored.
Right. So I bet the long shots, and I actually won. So it does happen.
One guy says here, so Ham calls himself Brad Pitt, but his son called him Steve Buscemi. Who is more accurate?
I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll actually take the middle. Actually, when I was 20, I looked like Brad Pitt. Now I look like Steve Buscemi.
Well, they both look better than me. What?
I had some other thoughts that I keep asking because the other stuff will come up to me. But the reason for the call today, I wanted to express my concern about the gentleman and his family. I just felt it just hit me because it reminded me of my friend who went to Central Park and shot himself.
Oof.
Okay, I mean, he lost $1 million in his stock, and he couldn't handle the pressure at home, and he just killed himself. Like I told you, I have friends that have had heart attacks. They can't handle the stress of this stuff.
Well, let's talk. I want to just put out for myself that I think all the movement in shares and responsiveness indicates to me, Just I'm speculating that maybe there's a settlement in the works of some kind before the end of the year. What do you think? Should people give up hope on MMTLP or hang in
No,
there?
100%. I said it 1,000 times. My opinion is they're going to settle it up. They're never going to let it trade. They're going to settle it up with everybody. Your broker, like E-Trade's going to call you and say, hey, listen, I got someone that's going to pay $10 for your shares. Do you care? And you're going to say, get me the hell out. That's what they're waiting for people to be at the edge, because at the edge, you're all going to jump out and sell you.
So kind of like a gray market. Yeah.
The gray market, they'll come to you and you'll make you pay, and you'll basically, they don't care if you tell anybody, they couldn't care less. And everybody will start, the people that need the money will sell out. There'll be a few people that have the money will hold on. And I guess we'll get their dividend shares, and that'll close up that chapter. West Christian, who is suing on behalf of, I guess, John Berger and those people, they'll work out a settlement. They'll seal it like they did with Credit Suisse for 50 years. West will sign the paper because he'll make himself a quick $20 million, $30 million. And that'll be the end of it, and they'll never be allowed to speak about it.
Right.
That's what I see happening.
But the good news is,
said, hey, there's 600 million shares, counterfeit shares in this company. Hey, it'll be on the cover of the newspaper, and everybody, the whole system would implode at that point.
the likelihood is they want to keep that kind of information from being front page news, and they'll pay up.
That is exactly right. Just like Credit Suisse, everyone on this phone call most likely would be dead by the time they release what happened to Credit Suisse. 50 years, they're going to hide it. 50 years locking it up.
Lee Harvey Oswald was involved.
Right, that's exactly how long it's been, right? Think about that. They're hiding stuff for 50 years, sealing it up. A public company. They won't tell anybody what happened. So if you invested in Credit Suisse, you just lost your money and no one cares. You can't even find out what happened. Unless you're 16 years old, you can find out when you're 66.
It's got to change. All of this has to change.
It has to change. It's all the money's going into a few hands. The people that we're dealing with at the low level are the worst. It's just amazing that these guys learned how to loot the system, got away with it for so long, yet continue. They thought it was going to last forever. And then you popped up, William, and that's the end of it.
Did you say something about the Kramers negotiating with the SEC?
No.
All right. So this is a shill.
I do believe that I've heard before that the Kramers are turncoats, and they have given up other people. I heard that from people that actually in the business of lending money said that to other people. I haven't said it, but I was told that.
Do you think they'll be loyal to Charlie Mayo?
No.
So, do you think Charlie Mayo has misplaced loyalty when he's loyal to them?
When the shit hits the fan, they're going to say, go out and hire your own attorney because they can't pay for it anymore. And they'll be using Gibson Dunn, and Charlie Mayo will be using Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe.
Yeah.
He'll have to get his lawyers from a back of an ad on a placemat in a pizza place where it says you get 50% off if you call it. That's his lawyer. He have to take his white fetish and turn in all his white things and go get an attorney, because that's what he's going to need. He needs plenty of money. Hey, again, you want to play with fire? When you get caught, you get burnt. Go look at all the criminals in jail. What they all do? They all try to steal. What they do? They got caught. They were selling drugs, robbing banks, robbing people. They go to jail. That's what happens.
Eventually.
Right. So these guys are so crazy that the police are here putting the police tape around the place, and they're still standing in here trying to steal.
Right.
I think that no one can see them.
Right. This guy makes an interesting point. He's saying, look, if GTII can run with 450 million shorts using your number, why would MMTLP at 600 million shorts only settle for pennies on the dollar? I don't think that's what Ham said. I think they'll start offering money low, and it'll just have to keep going higher till they get the job done. That's my opinion.
All I'm saying is that in that stock, the mistake was made by the regulators to shut it down, and you have evidence that the regulators are in cahoots working. They both know about it, right?
Right.
So they're in a bad way there.
Right.
So it's really not any more tied to the market.
Right.
The market is an open outcry, market. Basically, if you want to buy something and you want to pay for it, someone can sell it to you at the price you want to pay for it. That has been removed from you. You don't have that opportunity anymore.
Yeah.
So it's basically has to go to the gray market.
In the meantime, oil's gone to $100 a barrel. They've purchased 100% of Oro Grande, and they're proving up the assets. So it's working against the criminals. But anyway, we'll see what happens.
That is right. Some people wanted the dividend, so get your dividend. But the people that are struggling, who put up, let's say $5 a share and bought 50,000 shares, that's $250,000, and they need that money to support their family and feed their family. If someone comes to me and I paid $5 for it and they offer me $6, I'm sure a lot of them are just going to say, "Give my money back."
Yeah. They may try it that way.
If it was me and I needed the money, when they come to me, I would sell it because I have no choice. What can I do?
I don't think you're going to know this answer, but does MMTLP have any direct correlation with MMAT? All I know is that I can't remember. I think MMTLP lent money to MMAT. That's the only thing I know of. Otherwise, they're severed. They're not related anymore. I
have not. I never followed the whole situation.
Right.
I had friends that owned MMTLP. They were telling me to buy it when it was $1.50. They said it's going to go, and it did go. It went to 11 to 12. I had friends sell it there, and they bought back into before it shut down. Again, they made money, threw money back into it, and now have a free shot. It's a big free shot, but that money's tied up.
The loans paid back. Yeah, the loans paid back. I didn't know that.
Wants the money out. Again, I told you, the SEC looks at this as the time will work it all out. And I'm going to find the quote where the SEC said that one time. We were screaming at them. Who are they to determine what's going to happen? It just was criminal at that point, too.
This guy here, Deacon Blues, he's got something like, if I remember correctly, he's got over 20,000 shares of MMTLP. I think he's going to do well. So, he moved it over to next week.
I hope it goes to, listen, no one's cheering you on more than me. Whatever we can do, if I can do to help, I will do anything to help you guys. I can't believe that they let it go on this long. I can't believe the SEC is in hiding. I can't believe they don't even answer a question about it. Like it never happened. If it was their money, they'd be screaming too. It's just a disgrace. And I keep trying to tell you, the system is completely fraudulent. Yeah. You can think you're going out there buying Apple, but they just manipulate it until you panic and sell it.
It's all Webull or what's that other one, Robinhood. It's all fake shares. At least Robinhood admits they're just giving you fractional fake shares.
Everyone who has an account at Robinhood should 100% remove it. You want to pay him back? Remove your account. He has no accounts. He has no business. The stock will be zero. If you leave it there because you're too lazy to open a new account, then you could sit there and say, you just rewarded this guy who helped destroy the investors in GameStop and AMC. He's going to walk away a billionaire and couldn't care less. That's the easiest way to smack that guy around.
So Ham is, KYP's taking the polite road now. She's saying hello to you.
I knew she found out through the grapevine that I was smashing pickleballs and it was splitting in half. I know she's getting a little nervous.
Anyway, I don't really have any more questions.
Well, I just want it's a very slow day. We're all sitting here on a rainy day doing nothing. So again, the criminals are all on religious holiday, and we're sitting here babysitting, watching their skeleton crew. They have the amateurs out here trying to play games today. They got their, their lackeys doing it. So the Kramer's probably got Charlie Mayo out there, on staff today. He's the police today for the criminals. But again, it is what it is. It is coming to a head. The Citadel getting pinched and Goldman Sachs getting exposed. That gives the power to the people in D.C. to show that the system is fraudulent. All right, that they're all getting robbed. It's right there. You can't say it's select people. Oh, it's the people from GTII that just yelling. No, it's not. They robbed everybody. If they didn't, if anyone said to me, well, how do you know? Well, was just GTI, we could just say, hey, just sell tickets. Give us the names of all the companies that they defrauded. That's right. They'll never give you the names. They'll never give you the names. And when you see the selling stopping like you're seeing now, okay, GTII, the short sell, the number has been drying up for days. If it goes towards zero, that means they're not selling. It's pretty easy, right? Right. So again, finger motion. They've been trying to hold it down at all costs. I personally think that Lynn's friends overseas, whoever's doing it for them, they know the S3's coming. They're not stupid. They're watching Avid's videos about what's the name of the place again? Univest. They're educated. They're asking around on the street, what's going on? What's Univest going to do to us? And they're probably saying, holy shit, we better knock it down fast to get people to bail out. That's what they're trying to do. Right. That was the attack, get people to bail out. No one's bailing out because we all know what Univest is about. They know what Univest is about. So I look, in my opinion, I think you're going to see the real short. I think you're going to see the real short start to cover. You'll see that data tomorrow. I see if that number is going down. I can't imagine them raising that number up from 435. That's the real short, everybody. It's 435,000. Shortsqueeze.com. You can go look yourself, do a little homework, understand it. I think it's 435,000. I think that number is going to go lower, not higher. So to show you, and you say, well, how did they cover the 435,000? Whenever these guys go out there and try to cover the real short, they usually they sell it to themselves. So Lynn Partners is probably getting a call saying, hey, I got to cover the 435,000. Okay, well, give Tony the order and we'll sell it to him, and they wash the trade to him. Right. This way it never hits the market that there's a buyer of 500,000 shares trying to cover. Right. They don't want to show any strength at any time. If you always look at it, it's right now, it's 501 bid for 100 shares. There's always 700 for sale. There's always that same pattern. 1 share to buy, 700 for sale. 2 shares to buy, 900 for sale. They always make it look like they have more for sale than to buy. And every time the big bids come in, trying to buy stock, they run in front of it so you can't see the big bid anymore. Right. So they do everything to try to hide the fact that there's a big buyer in the stock. And big buyers, again, they can't just buy it all in one day. It's not, you can see how hard it is to buy it. And you have to understand that also. I know I had a few more things to address. And as soon as I hang up, I know I'll have,
There's always tomorrow.
You never know tomorrow. But again, nothing has changed. I feel awful about the gentleman that had to leave his home and, had the family incident. I told you before, it's a deadly game. There's bad guys on the other side of the coin. People that call up and defend these guys, they're criminals. I have nothing to do with the short sellers and Wolf or these other names. I don't know any of these people. They're on the wrong side of a trade, and there's people that are trying to defend it. Instead, you try to piss on us for teaching people the proper way of the law. Right. On this criminal activity. You attacking us, that we're shills and we're pumpers, and we're the worst pumpers in the world. I can't even get the stock to go up. I could probably move IBM faster than move this stock. Are you kidding me? I never seen anything like it. But But again, this is something that, again, everyone needs to understand. It's going on, and it's very, very disheartening. But I've been doing it so long, and I'm telling you, the tide has turned, and the game is going to end soon. And the low-hanging fruit is going first. That means the Kramers, Lynn, Yorkville, Savvy Management's already got caught. I think it's going to go from the SEC catching them to criminal charges. Because if spoofing is a crime, obviously a naked short-selling scheme is 100 times worse than spoofing.
And manipulating the price and communicating, colluding, all of that's a crime. Selling stock you haven't located is a crime.
Well, just go back to 2008. The SEC commissioner said it's fraudulent, naked short selling. He said it himself.
Yeah.
What they're not doing is enforcing the law. That's what the problem is. The rules are there, settle the trades, and ends the fraud. Right. One guy goes to jail. I told you what I would do. We catch you first time, you go into jail for 3 years. Second time, it's 5. Third time is 10. End the conversation.
Well, you're right about that. If they just focused on one guy, they're all men, one situation, arrested them, had the DOJ put them in jail, the rest of the street will self-regulate. That's 100%.
Gretchen Morgensen told me the federal authorities wanted to get the Kramers for their criminal activities. The FINRA, the SEC has labeled them as bad actors. They've been caught 20 times already. They have a rap sheet a mile long, and yet they're still out here wandering around. So either they are working for the federal government, or they're brain dead and just looking to get arrested. I can't figure it out. Take your money and run, flee. That's what they call it, running away. But instead, they want to stay here. I think they're trapped. They know it, and there's nothing you can do. The paper trail is going to lead back to them, just like the thing in Chicago when they burnt down the Ameritrade building. Citadel wanted that gone, and it disappeared, correct? One day, gone.
Yeah. They
were taking it away, still on fire. I'd never seen that before. Instead of putting out the fire, they were taking everything that's on fire, putting it in trucks and driving it away. That's how bad they wanted that thing to be gone.
That's like Building 7. But let's not bring that up.
Thing, right? They blew it up, right?
That's where all the records were for Harkin Energy and Arbusto Energy. Who knows? Who knows?
Anyway, so that's it for today. Again, I think that you need to go find your own stock. If you can't figure out one, educate yourself, figure it out, go whatever. There's 100 names that I've come across over the last couple of years. I can't keep track of them all, from ZUZI, ZYXI, XXII, OPK, CUEN, CEI, Northwest Bio, CVM, you name it. They're just endless names of companies that just got robbed, naked shorted, and destroyed.
Steven Rosenberg says the feds are investigating private messaging of Wall Street firms. I hope so.
I've always told you they're not allowed to speak because they wind up being collusion. The firms at Wall Street always had that where you're not allowed to communicate with each other. But that's why everyone, market makers, use these numbers in their bids in their offers. Remember we used to put that up there?
Yeah.
Who's bidding for 1,228 shares, and then you see the same weird number again.
Yeah.
That means I'm a buyer, I'm a seller, stay out of the way, I need stock. They talk to each other, and there's a whole code, but these guys know the codes between each other. When they leave work, they can say tomorrow the code's going to be number 2. Right. Whatever number I put up to buy or sell, the last number 2 means that I'm looking for stock or I'm a seller of stock.
Right.
That's how these communicate. That's how they communicate. They're not stupid. These are criminals. I don't know what the codes mean every day because they can change it around. Monday, 1 could mean buy. Tuesday, 2 sell. Wednesday's 3. 3 means I have nothing to do today. I don't know. It could be anything. We don't know what it is. But just grab one of them and they'll all start talking. That's for sure.
Right.
All right, everyone?
All right. You're the best.
All right. Have a great day. Thank you.
All right, Ham, bye. Okay. It's 2:32. I think I might, unless there's some quick questions, I'm gonna close it off early because it's a sort of quiet day, and I'd like to catch up on some things. Hi, Donna DiCreto. Your pension fight was in the news today. Well, I'll look it up. So anyway, I think I'm going to end it early just because there's not a lot more to say. And we'll leave it at that. Sunny California. Yeah, Lucky's doing well, and it's raining here, so my energy's low. And like I say, I want to get a couple of things done before the week gets started. Is the S3? What's this question about? Which S3? About 2 to 3 weeks away. Look, in the case of Finger, they filed it on the 11th of September. There was a minor amendment on that Thursday, so that would be the 15th, I think. Typically, it's 5 to 7 days. That's now. It can take up to 10 days. If you read on the website, it can take 27 days. So I don't know how far away it literally is. All I can tell you is that Univest probably has the best SEC attorneys, or comparable to the best SEC attorneys in the world. They've done 36 actions through the SEC. Their relationships with the SEC are probably premier, and I don't see any reason why it would take 2 to 3 weeks from now. If you're talking about LGIQ, yeah, it could take 2 to 3 weeks from now. But I don't see why either, but they're not, their attorneys are probably excellent too, but they may not have the same pull as Univest. But I've been saying on Logic for, I don't know, 2 months that the S4 should get approved. ASPA's S4 should get approved very quickly. I still think it could be quickly. I still think it could be any day, but it could take longer. I don't know. So I don't know, MM. Buenas noches, Buenos Aires. Call Ham back, please. All right, I'll try to talk to him. I'll try to call him back. I'm not going to do it online. Scott Scheller learned today that one company supplies all blue sheet data, and the company is owned by BlackRock. I made up the name BlackRock, but it's owned by the big banks. Will you ask Ham if it was his official Twitter account that I mentioned that MULN is apparently going to be purchased by BMW? Yeah, I'll ask him. You've got to be careful. But, Jeff, the problem with these kind of acquisitions, so let's use that as an example. I don't believe it, but if it's true, and I'm not even sure BMW is a standalone company, just to show my ignorance. But if BMW were to buy MULN, I don't think it'll rescue shareholders. Why doesn't Busy do Twitter Spaces anymore? As far as I know, he does do them, and maybe we'll have one soon. He's the best, and I'm always glad to join him when he invites me. And I stay to the end out of respect for him, unless